What's up, guys? The show is finally over for The Acolyte. I just finished watching season 1, episode 8. And the episode had great fight choreography. Just get the good stuff out the way. It looked good. The fight choreography was amazing. The actor playing Soul from Squid Game gives a great performance. He's great. His dialogue was pretty good, too. He gave the best performance in the whole show. And in the end of the season, and now we're going to get to some of the bad stuff. The writing just wasn't good overall still. This was probably not the worst written episode of the season. I think the worst written episode would have been episodes 4, 6, and 7. Those have been the worst episodes so far overall. And Soul, like, they try to paint him as some sort of bad guy who did a terrible thing, but when you watch episode 7, he really didn't do a bad thing. Yeah, he killed their mom, but their mom was evil and was possibly killing May or something like that, or maybe she was protecting her. We don't really know. But it was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Soul wasn't really completely a bad guy. Yeah, he killed somebody, but he killed somebody who was evil by a bunch of cult witches who are, like, not good guys at all. So, I mean, the Jedi didn't really completely do a bad thing, at least not based on episode 7. I'm not saying that they're heroic in any way, but based on the circumstances, I understand why they did what they did. And they're trying to paint Saul some kind of bad guy when he's not. So I guess justice for Saul. Saul has to get redeemed somehow in season 2 if there's going to be a season 2. And the only reason why there would be a season 2 is because Disney Plus is all in on Star Wars. They're probably more in on Star Wars than they are in the MCU at this point, because they've canceled so many shows in the MCU. But the shows they canceled, most of them didn't even air. One of them they canceled, they did air, which was She-Hulk. But She-Hulk was terrible and it was, like, insanely expensive and got bad reviews and tons of backlash. But, yeah, I mean, The Acolyte, I'm not going to say it's the worst Star Wars show I've seen. I still think the worst one is The Book of Boba Fett. But The Acolyte would be probably the second or third worst Star Wars show on Disney Plus. I say the worst one's still The Book of Boba Fett. And then The Acolyte would be like number 2. Second worst and third worst would be the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So of all the Star Wars shows, I think the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian are great. Season 3 was a disappointment. Andor is a masterpiece. Andor season 1 is a masterpiece. And Ahsoka, I think, is really good until, like, the last 2 episodes, but it's still a good, solid show overall. It's an entertaining show. Episode 5 of that show was just amazing. It was just great seeing the Clone Wars in live action, even though it was for a short amount of time, you know. But, yeah, The Acolyte was terrible. I had high expectations. I was looking forward to the show for 3.5 years when it was first announced back in December of 2020. They also announced Shogun during that Disney Plus event where they announced all those shows. And Shogun turned out to be a masterpiece, but The Acolyte was terrible. Of all the shows they announced, the 2 shows I was looking forward to the most were Shogun and The Acolyte. And Shogun was incredible, and The Acolyte was just terrible in the end. And in the last episode, we didn't even get, like, a complete answer on who the stranger is, Khmer. Is he Darth Plagueis? Is he somebody else? We know he used to be the Padawan of the Green Jedi chick, and apparently he went evil, and she must have sliced up his back with her lightsaber that turns into a whip, which is really, really cool. And and spoilers, we got to see Yoda in the last episode, in the last scene. We got to see Yoda's head because the Green Jedi chick was talking to Yoda about the situation that happened on the planet. The Jedi lied to the Senate about who was responsible. She put it all on Sol when he wasn't the one responsible, so that sucks. But she's covering up because she probably thinks that the Sith are making a comeback. So I don't really know. But overall, it was a terrible show. I would give it a 4 out of 10. And these are my thoughts on The Acolyte. And this is Brian J's Nerd Talk. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.